Well, welcome, Adrian and Rhett. It's so nice to see you both again. We chatted, it was probably over a year ago that we last talked, but we love your products, and I'm very excited to have you back in the studio again just to talk to us about your incredible products. So welcome.
Thank you so much. It's great to be here.
Yeah, and it has been too long, so we're very happy to be back.
It has been too long. So my day just got easier. I love this stuff. I have to tell you, this is one of my, you have great products. I love all your products, but this is really amazing. It's just that I know this is just the sample one, but I just loved your day just got easier. And this really does work. So why do, top level down, why do your products work? And they do. I mean, that's a great way of asking a question because they do work. But why? What's so significant about Ned that your products work so well?
You said top level down. So let me start way, way at the top level. And then Adrian, you could probably pick up halfway through or so. But, they work because the ingredients, first and foremost, are the absolute best that we can find. And, speaking directly to our hemp products, we spent quite a while seeking out the absolute best hemp farmer in Colorado, spoke with a number of them. And this was going all the way back to the summer of 2017, but finally found him and finally found his farm in Paonia, Colorado. And the way that he grows his hemp is for quality instead of quantity. And that's rare in the hemp industry. Typically, it's about lower price points, higher yields, just bigger and bigger fields, big equipment. Jonathan, however, his family farm is about the quality, and it goes all the way down to the seed, where the seed comes from, which strains are used, the type of soil, the type of organic fertilizers, the compost teas, the vortexing of the already super pure mountain water, growing from seed and doing so all entirely outdoors. That's really where it starts, with really great ingredients.
I love that. Quality, not quantity. And I think that's where we've been very misled that the quantity doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be maybe cheaper, but in the long run, is it giving you what you really need? So we must always look for quality. So I love that about your company.
Well, honestly, we do too. And it's really the only way we would do it. And it's what gives us, it's one of the things that gives us the most joy in our business, is having that relationship with Jonathan, spending time on his farm and really getting to that quality. It's, neither Adrian nor I are interested in being part of any business that's not about quality. It's just at this point in our careers, it's first and foremost.
Oh, I love that.
What you were holding there was our de-stress blend, which we've launched since we last spoke. And, what's interesting about that one, I think, is reflective also about what we're trying to achieve, is that, it's not just about hemp and cannabinoids. It's also about other botanicals and plants and herbs and roots and fungi and algae and all sorts of other ingredients that can further help the core function of a product, as well as kind of the core function of our mission, which is to help all people feel better and live better through the powers of the natural world. So the de-stress blend is a really, really cool one. It was our first product using a CBG dominant strain called CBG White. CBG is actually a minor cannabinoid that's typically found in very low percentages and in full spectrum hemp. This particular strain is a really beautiful one. And CBG is kind of like this, it's being heralded as like the super cannabinoid. So like a CBD plus. And what's interesting about that one is, particularly for stress response, it's been shown to actually inhibit the reuptake of GABA. GABA, as of course, you've talked about many times, is this incredible neurotransmitter, amino acid that really helps fortify our stress response and can inhibit the reuptake. We get more of it, and thus it really helps that stress response. And then secondly, it's our first product that has ashwagandha in it, which is an adaptogen that we love and we've been looking to use in the right way for pretty much as long as we've been a business. And this was the perfect opportunity to do that. And it's an incredible adaptogen that is really all about kind of enhancing the body's resilience to stress. So the two of those together, has really done a lovely job in creating a really effective and actually a tasty product.
I love how you explain that. And I think what's really important for people to understand here is that when you talk about the reuptake, I mean, this is not, you can't, there's no technology at this stage that can guarantee that you are actually doing this. This is what it's proposed. I just want to make sure people understand that CBG is known to help support that function, but it doesn't mean that it immediately changes the reuptake. And the reason I'm just saying that is that people might think, I don't want people to think if I take that, I'm definitely going to have enough GABA and it's definitely going to stop the reuptake. That's what it's proposed to do. So I love the way that you said enhance, and that the combination of the ashwagandha and the CBG in the cannabinoid is actually enhancing our function and facilitating the natural thing of the body. And I think that's what you meant from the beginning, I believe, with that concept. I'm just clarifying for people because of the whole psychotropic language of it inhibits. We don't have any proof or any actual scientific that it actually goes into the synapse and stops serotonin, for example. So I just don't want people to think that. I want them to understand that you guys work holistically and not assumptively, and that you are working on enhancing what we know are things that actually help certain neurotransmitters and things like that, which is so much of a healthier approach. Have I understood that correctly and explained that correctly?
Yes, definitely. We look to create really science-backed remedies, and science is obviously, based off of exhaustive studies and such, but yes, it's shown that it can inhibit that reuptake. So,
which is fantastic. So then I love the enhancing factor and the fact that you've combined different products. So let's ask some specific questions. People always ask about are there any dangers associated with CBD? So the questions I'm going to ask you now are the standard ones that you have heard so often, but these are what people would love to know. So if you wouldn't mind us me firing these at you. So are there dangers in taking CBD?
We have not heard of any danger or negative implications from taking a full spectrum hemp or CBD product.
There are rare cases, though, of allergies, and we have definitely seen that.
So people's fears around this are basically misinformation, potentially?
Potentially. Hemp was criminalized for nearly 100 years for, a number of different reasons, which could be a whole nother show. But hemp is a beautiful plant. That has the full spectrum has a very small amount of THC, which is the only psychoactive cannabinoid out of over 120 different cannabinoids. Marijuana is a sister plant, which has a higher amount of THC. But hemp was criminalized. It was thrown into the same bucket with, for, the same reason that most things happen, which is for money. But again, that could be a whole nother show.
I'm so glad you answered it like that, because people immediately associate CBD with, not in all people, but there's been generally that sort of link between CBD, THC, marijuana, bad. But yet there's so many phenomenal benefits the way that you have put it together in your organization, your company. So I think that was a great answer. So I think you've answered this. Ned's different from other CBD companies, and that's really due to your ingredients. Do you want to say more about that, or have you covered? Do you think you said you covered that? Do you want to say more about why you're different?
Yeah, I mean, if that was the only thing that made us different, I would not sleep at night. There are a lot of other things as well, and it speaks all the way to our quadruple bottom line. The typical bottom line is in a business is how are we doing financially? That's one of 4 parts. The other 3 are what are we doing for the environment? What are we doing for our people? And what are we doing first and foremost for our customers? And unless we can answer each of those questions with positive, we can't identify our business as doing well. So we do a lot. We also are very good at the branding, the packaging. That's Adrian's department. He's the best I know at that. And we're very good as well at getting the word out there. However, it's, one of the very first things we decided early on was we would show and not tell. So I just, little gratitude to you, Dr. Leaf, for being one of the people that is able to tell on our behalf. It's very important. And we're very grateful to you and to your audience.
Well, I think a lot of people have had tremendous benefit, but I love those 4 pillars of your business. And that's so great because, as you say, it's obviously every business wants to make a profit. So no one's trying to pretend that that's not the case. But the fact that you look after your the people that work for you, the fact that you're environmentally looking at the environment and that you're looking at the customer as getting the most benefit. That's a very balanced approach. I really like that. That's amazing. Okay, so mental health struggles that you faced as founders of the company. I know that you both have a story. We did speak about it before, but we can always hear it again. So burnout, stress, etc. And how did you overcome that? So, what were your own mental health struggles? And you want to just give a big picture view, or as much as you want to share, and how this has helped you.
That's very much my department, we can say. My journey to Ned really started with me, having my first panic attack while presenting in front of my entire company that I was running, about 75 employees. And, that was followed by a bout of stress-induced shingles and then getting fired.
I've had that. Can relate. I was a child and I had that, and it's terrible. Okay, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you there, but that is horrible.
Yeah, so truly. And that was after a long and, somewhat successful career, and being at what I thought might be the kind of quote unquote top of my game, and, having checked off all these boxes, and, I thought I was like somehow immune to it. And sure enough, all of a sudden, like this world was collapsing around me. And, I was very fortunate that I was able to take, this 2-year sojourn on the back of that kind of burnout is what I really classify it as. And, it was really two paths. It was either go get some Xanax and try to keep going, or really take a step back and try to just reevaluate what had just happened and what led me to that moment. And I was very fortunate. I was able to take the latter route. And for me, it was all about just changing everything, like stepping away completely from the life that I had been living. And that meant booking a one-way ticket to Kathmandu and figuring it out from there. And, what I thought might be 2 months turned into 2 years of exploring and wandering and exploring parts of myself that I had left unexplored. And I think on the back of that, I was really able to sum it up in three distinct areas. So that really kind of were behind my rehab, for lack of a better term.
Yeah.
And the first is certainly understanding just how powerful the natural world is and how important it was to my soul, that just being outside and spending a lot of nights sleeping under the stars and spending a lot of time in the forests and coastlines, and understanding how much better I felt after spending time outdoors. The second was really having a deep, deep appreciation for simplicity. Everywhere from just living with a few belongings for 2 years to learning how to clean a fish to simple things like chopping wood. And then finally, probably the most important one was just understanding better human connection. And it just really started with a sense of self-honesty, really truly figuring out how I can listen to myself, what feels good, what doesn't. That self-honesty leads to honesty with others. And when you're honest with others, like all of a sudden, you're making deep human connections very quickly. And I think Red had already, very similar journeys, but different paths, had already kind of found his way there. And so when we reconnected, we had been friends for several years. It just kind of clicked that these pillars would have to be part of the business, the sense of honesty, keeping things simple, and really honoring the natural world. And the last thing I'll just say to sum it up is what makes us different is also that we're not just about selling products. We're very much about education and advocacy and equipping our community with tools beyond our products that, things like if you step outside on your lunch break for 5 minutes and get some sun on your face, like that can really have a true tangible impact on your day. The same way if you go on a walk and put your feet in the grass, like it's been shown to reduce cortisol levels. Completely ground you. Yeah. So all those things have been really found their way into our brand, our mission, our products, our processes. And it's really, kind of our North Star.
I love that. So mental health is your mission, really. If you think about it, you're helping people with the day-to-day. I mean, you're not just talking, mental health is such a broad term. It covers a wide spectrum. It just covers being human. And you're just trying to help us get back to, give us ways of making being human and the struggles of life a little bit easier.
Absolutely. And that's a good way to put it. And, we think about it as well as, a lot of us find ourselves in these prisons, whether it's a prison of anxiety or insomnia or pain. But so many of us are constrained from being our true selves and who we have the full potential to become, or who we were. And, that's one of our favorite parts is seeing the testimonials coming in of people saying, the mother saying that her son now no longer has crushing social anxiety and he just asked a girl out. The gentleman whose son died from the opioid epidemic and he's now battling with cancer and refuses to take opioids, pain medication, and has found our products to be helpful. So creating those keys to unlocking the gates, the prison walls, is just, we love it.
I can see your passion comes through, and I like the fact that and that's why I asked this particular question about mental health, is that you're not trying to say, okay, take this and your stress will go away. You're talking about a lifestyle change, and you're talking about how you are offering part of that lifestyle change. And that for me is very refreshing, because there are so many supplement and CBD organizations and business in general. They say, if you do this one thing, take this one supplement, everything's going to be fixed. And that's something that's, as we know, is pretty dangerous. It's a lifestyle change, and it's getting back to nature, and it's looking at yourself. And that's why I really wanted you to talk about briefly talk about your stories. So thank you for that.
And you're right. It's all too common to feel like you're being sold a silver bullet. And, we're kind of born into a culture that, there's a pill for that. And it starts there, that it's a quick fix. And this idea that there is a cumulative benefit to small changes is it doesn't come as naturally as you would think. And, it's a fun challenge for us because, frankly, we only have to look as far as ourselves to be like, okay, well, what was, where did it shift for us? But the last thing I will also say, because I think the question was kind of how did we overcome? And I think it's really important.
Or manage, because do we ever really overcome? We learn to manage. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because truly, I think that's not a perception we want to put out there, that it's somewhat binary or somehow one day you're fixed, one day you're...
Yeah.
And I will truly admit, I still have moments, and it might be days, it might be a week, that I'm really anxious and feel kind of like I've all of a sudden been overtaken almost. And it just takes getting back to some of those principles to find my way out. So it's not, even as a co-founder of a brand that's built around helping people feel better and live better, it doesn't mean that, we're somehow cracked the code.
Have got it all together. Yeah. It's not like, take this and you've cracked the code for anxiety. And that's what I love about your company, because there is no one way. There is no silver bullet. Everything works together to help a person just be human and deal with the huge and the small challenges of life and all the ones in between. So I really think that's really great that you've emphasized that, and your own personal experience is what's brought this product to the table. And that's really what's important, and all the, as we've already spoken about, getting back to nature and the quality products and looking after people and the environment. These are really fantastic things. Let's talk about some specific things. Magnesium deficiency. That's a big deal. And, we know magnesium is such a important, everything's important in the body. We can't say one thing's more important than the other, but there is definitely, I think, from our lifestyle. Let me pitch it this way. Our lifestyles today have definitely changed a lot of quality ingredients going into our body in the way that they could, and certain have been more affected than others. And I think magnesium is one of those. That's definitely something that we need a lot of, and potentially don't get the best version of it or enough of it. And that's something I know you talk a lot about, the role of magnesium in mental health and importance of the deficiency, and how can cannabinoids help. So I'd love you to just talk around that for a little bit. Is that good? Is that a good question to ask you?
Yeah, we love all questions, but this is a good one. Absolutely. Magnesium, our grandparents 60, 80 years ago would have gotten 4 times as much magnesium.
That's the point I was making. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The leafy green salad, there'd be 4 times more magnesium for them than there is for us. So and that's a direct effect of monocropping over farming, a lot of the magnesium has been stripped from the soil. So many of us, I found myself included, being magnesium deficient. In fact, 75% of Americans do not get their recommended daily allowance, which is grossly understated, of magnesium. And so it would be very difficult to supplement it with whole foods. That is the recommended route always. We would always prefer people eat whole foods and do it naturally. I eat very well. I still supplement in many areas, and magnesium is one of them. In fact, it's completely non-negotiable. I must have my magnesium every day, every night. I will get out of bed if I realized I haven't had it, go make myself some of our mellow magnesium. And it's really important. It's over 300 different functions within the body that magnesium attributes to, everything from, as you mentioned, mental health. Without magnesium, the body can't release serotonin or create serotonin, or it has a much more difficult time doing so, to sleep, recovery, joint and muscle pain, et cetera, et cetera. But we love magnesium. We identified it very early on as something that's missing for the Western diet, and something that we knew that through natural products we could help with.
Boost it. And it's interesting you say that you can't necessarily just get that with our food, even if it's good quality food. It's sort of a whole societal, it's a change that we've gone through, and these things happen. So this is where it's great to know that this is something we need. And as you said, 350 plus functions that magnesium performs, and massive stuff, the neurochemicals just growing, just neuroplasticity, so many different factors, cell health, every cell of our body. So it's great. So how do you basically link it into your products? So explain the link between your CBD products and magnesium. How does that all work?
Well, one other thing to add also is, just before we jump into the ingredients, is just there's so many lifestyle factors too that we didn't have 60, 80 years ago. The level of stress that we exist with. And you can kind of think of magnesium in a fuel tank, and stress is like a big hill. So if you're driving up a hill, like, you're burning a lot more fuel. So when we're existing with a lot of stress, our bodies are burning a lot more magnesium than typically would. We happen to mostly be living with a lot of stress these days.
Yeah.
Similarly, sugar, alcohol, a number of other things can really either inhibit absorption or compete for absorption. So there are a number of other lifestyle factors that kind of fall into it as well, just simply our diets. But as far as our ingredients, similarly to our hemp products, where not all hemp is created equal, neither are magnesiums. There are different types of magnesium forms you can find on the market. And our first stop was with chelates. And chelates is basically a fancy way of saying that a magnesium compound is bound with a naturally occurring compound in the human body, in this case, amino acids, so it can better absorb when we ingest it. So we use three different forms of magnesium in the product. One that's really geared towards cognitive function and is kind of drawn to the brain, others to blood, muscle, and bones, and then the other kind of nerve and gut health. So really try to take this whole body approach with the forms of magnesium. But then additionally, found that there's some great amino acids that really help and complement, with the magnesium uptake. So GABA is one. GABA we love, again, really great for in kind of reinforcing your stress response. And then L-theanine, which is derived from green tea leaves and is yet another adaptogen that's just kind of really wonderful in supporting our body's stress response. So the three of kind of the trifecta of the amino acids, the magnesium, and then trace minerals also from one of our magnesiums is this kind of triple whammy, and has really, I think, been proven by the adoption of Mellow. It's been, we launched it just around this time last year and quickly become one of our top 3 bestsellers. And yeah, it's been really fun to see that one take, and just also understand how effective it's been for our customers, because it really starts there.
Oh, amazing. So you see, just by your answers, I mean, my audience can just see how much passion and depth of care and insight has gone into this product. And, that's what I like about it. It's not just let's whack a few things together, because you can find those product ingredients that you've described on many different supplements, but how are they put together? Is it the correct ratio? What is the quality? All these What is the purpose? What is the best thing? Because sometimes you can just, put a lot of stuff in your body, but it's not put together properly. I'm giving you such a simple way of saying this, but that your body doesn't benefit. You have put a lot of time into trying to get that together, haven't you? From really trying to get the best, that your body's going to be able to absorb the best and get the best out of the product. And once again, it's enhancing and facilitating in a holistic way of helping you change your lifestyle. You're not just saying take that magnesium and you will now be cognitively brilliant and sleep better. It's all part of a process, but you're giving people tools to start moving in the right direction.
Exactly.
Absolutely. Yeah.
No, I love that. Okay, so you've actually, the two questions, and then there's lots of things we can ask, but natural remedies in general for stress and anxiety, you've kind of covered those. We've covered that, that's because that's a very common question that we get. What can people do to supplement, take the edge off? If you're going through something anxious, it's not that the CBD or the product is going to take that away. It takes the edge off so that you have more resilience to deal with the stuff. So is there any other thing besides the magnesium and the stress relief that you'd like to mention in terms of helping people with taking the edge of stress and anxiety?
Each of our products do. De-stress. Yeah, our de-stress blend is specifically formulated for precisely that. Magnesium also. Mm-hmm. But our daily blend is wonderful. It's how we started. It's a beautiful product. It's very simple, very natural, which is just full spectrum hemp oil, the very best from Jonathan's farm, as well as organic MCT coconut oil. And these products, I should mention, are fully certified as organic. And, our sleep blend, sleep is crucial, as I'm sure your guests have heard you say. Without good sleep, our sleep blend product is a beautiful combination of wonderful ingredients as well as cannabinoids. It's actually our best seller because people know how important sleep is and they want to do something about it. But really, all of our products work toward helping with stress and anxiety.
That's wonderful. Well, if I had to ask you the question, based on what you've just said, what your favorite products are, you've just said all of them. So, it's like I don't think you probably don't choose amongst all of them because each one has been like a creation that you've given birth to and you've seen change your own lives and then through the testimonies. So there's a lot of personal investment in each product.
There is. Maybe another question is, which one do we use most regularly? For me, I use our body butter every single day. I absolutely love our body butter. It's just a wonderful, nourishing, moisturizing product that gives me my cannabinoids through my skin. It helps me recover as well. It helps me with soreness and aches. So I use that one every single morning. I often use our de-stress blend. If there's a stressful situation, I'll use that hopefully before. And then again, every single night I use our magnesium product.
Amazing. And Adrian?
I still love our original daily blend, our full spectrum hemp oil. I think that's just been this incredible utility product for me. So that's in my, it's in the name. It's my daily product and mellow as well every single night. I often share if, I'm in bed and I realize I've forgotten to take it.
You'll get up and get your magnesium. Yeah, I agree with you.
Me too.
It's kind of ridiculous at this point, but it's really just found its way into my own ritual. And, I love the de-stress. It's truly I think it's a fabulous product. I'm a big fan of CBG, and on particularly stressful mornings, I'll use it, but I would say that what I recently did is I now have one on my desk here at the office, and then I have one on my desk at the home office. So it's a lot easier to take consistently, just because I found in my own morning routine, it was easy to just kind of grab my coffee and go and forget to take it. So it's one of those little nuances that, to make it a ritual, it just required a little bit of an adjustment.
Attach it to a habit that you already have, and then it makes it part of your daily ritual. So you love your own stuff and you use your own stuff, I should say. Closing question. Thank you so much. So this has been, I always enjoy talking to you too. It's always so nice to have a nice, authentic understanding behind products and things, which is really great. CBD for children, that's another question we get asked a lot of. And, that's obviously, I don't answer that question because it's not my field. So I'd love you to just answer that question as our closing question.
Yeah, well, what we always have to say, really just due to federal regulations, is that we're not able to specifically comment on certain supplements for children. So we always encourage our community to chat with their healthcare providers, do their own research. But what we can say is that more often than not, say the large majority of the time, when our community does go and do that, they will come back and order. So it's unfortunately not something we can answer super directly.
Okay. But there's research. So people do research, and there is a lot more research coming out about the benefits of, and the pros and cons, obviously. So I love the fact that you encourage people to go and do their research, which is so important. We shouldn't just listen and do. We should hear and then question and research. So that's a really great way to end the show. So how do we get hold of, or how do people get hold of you? I know the link and details will be in the show notes, and they can hear me talking about the products on my podcast. But where can people learn more about you and Ned? You both and Ned.
Come to our website. That's the best stop. We're 100% direct to consumer right now. So they can come to helloned.com, HELLONED.com. And that's where you have all our products. You have our stories. You can read about the farm and Jonathan and his family and all the cool things that go into the products,
as well as the COAs, the certificates of analysis, and see the lab results on everything.
That's good.
Which we have front and center. You cannot miss them. We want you to look at them.
That's fantastic. Well, that's the authenticity part that I spoke about. So thank you so much for what you do and just helping to help people's daily lives. As you say, just got your day got just a little bit easier by learning about your company. So thank you so much to you both, and I look forward to our next time we connect.
Yeah, likewise.